Welcome everybody to the January 2026 meeting of the LGBTQIA Plus Commission. Great to see everybody. Happy New Year. So first up is roll call. So Leonard Orbovich.
Here.
Great. Catherine Calhoun.
Here.
Julian McLean.
Here.
Richard Parsakian. Shanti Porter. Sarah Rosso.
I'm here.
Derek Tynes. Guillermo Velasquez. Evan Carroll. Barb Warwick.
Here.
Donnie Donovan.
Here.
Alexander Gray.
Here.
And Anne Marie Ellison. Great. So we have 6 members to quorum present, so that means we have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is reading and approval of prior minutes. I have a whole stack of these I need to get back from Adriana, so start with everybody. Can shift that to next month because there hasn't been a quorum in a minute as well. So acknowledgement of public comment. I haven't, nothing has come in from the public. My email address is now connected to the online form on the website. So, and nothing has come in. So we can move on from that. Officers and standing committees. I don't know if there are any co-chair reports, anything to report out.
I just want to mention, since we haven't had quorum, and then since like the transition of terms, there was some, I guess, a little confusion about just moving forward. But I just wanted to mention World AIDS Day and how City Council and Barb and everybody came together to recognize December 1st from here on out as an official World AIDS Day in the city of Pittsburgh. And so that was an accomplishment that we had in light of the federal government and some other entities trying to erase World AIDS Day and some other sorts. But for us in the city of Pittsburgh, December 1st from here on out will be World AIDS Day. And a lot of that is to do with this commission. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Julian. It was great to work with you on that. And I think we can keep doing that every year too. That's something that we as like council can do, is issue proclamations at national dates of remembrance, anything like that. If there's like a holiday around, we can issue proclamations and present them at events or in council. So that is, a resource that the commission has as they ever want to acknowledge anybody or anything on a particular date.
Yes. And thank you to Laura as well. Thank you.
Happy to coordinate. And then unfinished business. So the commission recommendations on unisex restroom, SOGI training, menstrual products, reproductive leave. Last time we talked about this, I think the sort of next step on my end was to figure out the sort of budgetary requirements, like the city budgetary requirements for each of these things. And I don't have a dollar figure at this point. I'm going to meet with HR before the end of the month to talk through what those figures would look like to see. And once we have a dollar amount on those, then you can see if there is room in this year's budget for that, or if that needs to be the 2027. But once dollar figures are attached, then we can figure out the best way to move forward. Is basically where we're at. And that is something that I'm working with Stephanie Gagne of the Gender Equity Commission on as well. So it's us who are going to be talking to human resources about that. So just very brief update on there. But I think the new business was what I think we were hoping was going to be the bulk of this discussion, because I think the last meeting we had, we sort of talked about the need for a plan for the year. So like 2026 goals, what we want the commission to be, what, you know, events we want to put on, what things we want to promote, like what the commission's role in the city ought to be. And just based on that conversation we have, I broke it down into a few different topics, which are in the agenda. But if I missed anything, please feel free bring anything up. But it so the first thing that I had written down was membership, just sort of talking through ways to ensure that we keep meeting quorum. If we want to bring on members, if folks feel that like if you want to recruit particular either like skill sets or like representation. And so I will leave it there at this point, and if anybody has any initial thoughts on that.
I don't know if anybody else has any initial thoughts. My thoughts, but yeah, I think that meeting quorum is definitely uh, um, something that paramountly that we were trying to accomplish, and we've come up with a couple of solutions to that. Like you said, bringing on a couple people, and then the executive committee or the executive commissioners were also speaking about just attendance, and just letting people know in advance if you're not going to be there for excused absences, and then we're still working on like what that would look like, but that would look like because we always want people um, to give their time or volunteer their time how they see fit and their capacity, but we also want to make sure that we can vote. So we're discussing that and how to best do that. So I think after our next executive commission meeting, we'll have some more information on those processes.
Can I jump in, please? So we did, when we wrote the bylaws, when the commission first started, we did create a system of attendance requirements. And then later on came to find out that we didn't really have any way to enforce them. But is there a way to clean up our roles some? Because we have people on the commission that are not active and and some, I believe, have never have been. I haven't seen a current list in a while, but excuse my dog. I haven't seen a current list in a while, but I know that we hear names get called and when we take roll that, I mean, I'm not the only one that hasn't seen them in God knows how long. Is there anything that can be done about that? Because I mean that I feel like that I absolutely completely agree with Julian. We need new members and new members that are dedicated to the work. However, is there anything we can do about the members who are not?
I believe that Adriana, we thank you, Lenny. We discussed this as well, and for us, like the commissioners being a separate entity, we either have to, in our bylaws, we have to recuse ourselves, or it has to be a recommendation of the mayor for someone to step down. So like those are like you said, that's what's putting us between a rock and a hard place. If no one attends or if no one's communicating, then they won't recuse themselves, and then if the and I don't want to tell on anybody to the mayor either. So like I'm between that point as well. But those are like the two systems that we have for removal and replacement is recusal and a mayor recommendation. And Laura, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, I think you know more about that than I do. So that sounds correct to me.
No, Julian's absolutely correct. That is what we've been told in the past. I think my greater point is I mean, I hear Julian's point about not wanting to necessarily go and tell on people, but what are we going to do? Like, we can't continue to
True.
struggle to make quorum.
True. Yeah, I think that we'll proceed.
Continue to have people on the commission who are not, in fact, actually on the commission.
Right, right. And then like in their resumes and stuff, I've seen that they like to put that they're on the commission, but they have never contributed to the commission. So yeah, we're gonna address that. So like, and to me, the most I guess tangible thing to do is to remove people, and that's like the I guess the line said that we can say to meet quorum in a better stance rather than adding people that may not show up, or to add to the people that still 4 or 5 people not showing up plus adding on 2 new people or whatever still may lead to that same issue. So right now, like you said, Lenny, we're looking, well, to be transparent, we're looking at what it looks like to expedite that process for people's capacity so they can serve in the best way possible.
Thanks, Julian. I really, really appreciate that. And I do agree with everything you're saying.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
So it sounds like that so it sounds like, yeah, Julian, you'll have something to report back after the next executive meeting about how to move forward. If you would like, after that conversation, to speak to somebody from the new administration, I could probably help to set that up. I don't know if, sorry, there's a lot of birds out the window. If you would like to invite somebody to the next overall commission meeting, or have sort of an initial conversation with somebody from the new administration about membership and like what that looks like now, happy to do whatever is most helpful in the moment.
Great, thank you for that. And then again, for transparency, to me, what it looks like, and again, it's a democracy, but to me, what it looks like is us establishing a new amendment to the bylaws to say, from starting at this point, if you miss whatever the stipulation is, and then coming back to the board or all the commissioners and voting on this to be placed into our bylaws, and we can move forward with it officially, and we can have some sort of recourse to say, okay, it's in our bylaws that now you've missed 2 meetings, and so it's an automatic recusal, excuse me.
Julian, do you have a copy of the current bylaws? Because those were written, like, we did write that stuff into it.
Yeah, I got them from Billy at one point. I have to search, but I'll have to search for them. But
okay, but yeah, I mean, we already do have attendance requirements, but as you pointed out, it's our inability to enforce them that's the issue.
Right. We'll rectify it. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
And so as we bring up the mayor in the mayor's office, this feels like a good time to ask, do we know if the mayor has appointed a DEI director?
I have not seen if the new administration has. I mean, by which I mean if he has, it hasn't come, across my desk. But
He's required to do so, though, correct? I mean, that was written into city code.
Yes. I don't know what the timeline for that is, or if that is something that, so the main things that I've seen are the ones that require a city council vote, just because of my role. So I'm not sure if that role is one that requires a city council vote or not. So that is something I can take away to find an answer on.
Thank you.
Oh, and the other thing I was just going to ask, if, yeah, Julian, would you be able to send me a copy of the bylaws as well? Because I haven't seen those, I think, either at this point.
Yeah, I'll send all of us a copy of the bylaws. We can all get no problem.
Thanks, Julian. And yeah, I see Sarah, you have your hand up.
Yeah, to Lenny's point about the legislation, I think it would be helpful to figure out if that's accurate or not. From memory, one of the earlier parts of the bylaws and legislation was that a staff person would be appointed to be the liaison. What that looks like and what that role is, I think there's probably some discretion between administrations, but we should probably figure that out because that will be really important for our work with the new administration and collaborating with council overall for this process.
Yeah, so that bit of it, I can at least offer a little bit of clarity on because I have up what is in code, which was updated last year, which was essentially the mayor shall appoint a management level employee to staff the LGBTQIA plus commission and ensure that the administrative duties are completed to continue the progress of the commission. So that is something that the new administration is obligated by code to do, as well as to appoint a member to the commission, like not a member who doesn't count for quorum, but is still there. So those two pieces are in code. So the mayor needs to do that. But what the timeline looks like for them fulfilling that, I'm not sure about.
Yeah, that makes sense. And even in that code, though, it doesn't necessarily have to be an IDEA manager. It could be a different role at a management level. Sorry, but certainly we'd want to get clarity on that from his team as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's worth figuring out if they would like the person in that same role to be the person who staffs the commission, or if they're going to approach it some way differently. Anything else on membership before we move on? It sounds like there'll be more to discuss after the executive meeting and hopefully some clarity from the new administration for next month.
Is a discussion about membership an appropriate time to talk about the request by the mayor's office that we all resign?
Sure, you'd like to.
I mean, yeah, do you have any insight on that? Thank you, Lenny. Insight on, so should we all just continue? I responded and said that I would not like to resign at this time. But is there like any future concern that we should have in regard to that? Like or future planning, if there's also some sort of recourse for us not to be here, we probably should know that.
Yeah. So my understanding, and this comes from like talking to folks at other commissions, is that the new administration is within their rights to ask folks to resign. And I mean that message went out to every commission, every board, every authority. All of them got that. And they are allowed to ask for folks' resignation, but that does not obligate anybody to resign. So if you do not respond, if you respond and say I would not like to resign, as long as you do not reply and say yes, I resign, then you are still there on the commission for the length of the term that you were appointed to. And that might be something that is also worth getting clarification on. That should be public record, who was appointed when to the commission, so then and how and what the length of your term is. Because in my understanding, I have a fairly short institutional memory. I've only been here for 3 years, but my understanding is that what has happened previously was when if as folks turned over, instead of sort of a all at once everybody resign and be replaced, that it was just when people's term limits expired, then they just were replaced at that point. And also they don't necessarily have to be but that's that's up to the mayor, or that I can check in the code what it says to see who is responsible for appointing members to the commission. That is worth clarifying. So I'm going to look real quick at the code, but the nugget from all that, which is my understanding, is you cannot be compelled to resign. That is entirely up to you.
And so, just to clarify for everyone, we are all still in our positions until we decide otherwise, or until, like we said, there's a mayoral recommendation for specific removal. If I'm
Yeah.
correct. Okay.
Yeah. And I just checked in the code, and it does say that members shall be appointed by the mayor and approved by city council. So if somebody's term expires and the mayor would like to appoint somebody else, that he will be within like his that'll be within his like realm of like responsibility and possibility. But prior to that, prior to somebody's term expiring, that he can make the ask, but unless somebody has responded to that and said, yes, I resign, the makeup of the commission will still be the same.
And Laura, I'm sorry, just to clarify, you did say that it went out to that the same letter went out to all commissions and authorities. We shouldn't necessarily feel targeted by that.
Yes, that went out to
It was an uncomfortable read.
Yeah, no, and I heard that from a couple other folks on other commissions as well, where people were surprised by it. But yeah, I you were not alone in that surprise, uh, but which is, maybe comforting, maybe not. I thought Sarah had her hand up, but that maybe went down, and I see Alexander has his hand up as well.
I just wanted to second what Lenny was saying. I felt like it did not show an enormous amount of respect for all the good unpaid labor that we put into this commission, and I did not enjoy it, and I will leave it at that.
And I was just wondering if it was just a normal practice, because I don't feel like I've ever gotten one of those before. But I was just wondering. I mean, Laura, you said you've only been here for 3 years, so. But when I received the email, I just thought it was a weird practice to do. Um, but yeah.
And that's a little bit about what I was going to contribute to the conversation. I agree. I think receiving that message was odd. And so I reached out directly and said, what is up with this? And the information that I got back is that it was standard practice. I think the way that messages get communicated from one administration to the next, or from one, between council and the mayor's office, is always different from year to year. But what I was told in that process is that that's actually standard practice and transitions. Whether that's accurate or not, I'm not that's not what I'm here to share. But that's what I was told when I reached out directly, and that that there was intention to work with all of the commissions, and appreciation for the work that was done, but just really trying to get a sense of who wanted to continue with the new administration, rather than an intention to ask everybody to disperse. Again, that's the message that I received. If that's helpful for anybody to hear, is that it was a standard practice, and really more of a vetting of who wanted to continue in that work, and less of a targeted, we don't want you to serve anymore kind of approach. Whether that remains to be true, we'll see.
Thank you for that, Sarah. Quick question, Laura. Do you already have like correspondence with the new administration? Like,
Yes. There are a few. There's a council liaison in particular who I've been mostly working with. And last week I met with their community affairs folks that was formerly neighborhood services. I don't know if the inner machinations of things are renamed at the city means anything to me, but neighborhood services is now community affairs. And I met with some folks from there, and it seems like it is likely that uh, Corey Buckner is who is heading up that department now, and he said that he uh, might try to come next month, but we're going to make the ask about actually who the new administration would like to be staffing it. But that was a long way of saying yes, that I have a couple contacts in the new administration.
Great, great, great. Thank you, thank you. And I was leading that up to a leading question to maybe, like we said, in a meeting or two, or in the next few meetings, meeting with someone from their staff so we can align um, in what we're doing.
Yeah.
If
If
the
folks,
commissioners want to do that, like I
yeah,
know that we feel some type of way, but but if the commissioners want to do that, but
this was going to be. Is there would folks like to have somebody from the administration at next month's meeting, or get a more specific agenda together for that? Like, I don't, what sort of timeline would be best for folks?
I say the sooner the I don't know. I think aligning and just getting on the books as this is a commission that wants to continue the work. And we understand what you said, thank you, Sarah, for maybe that was standard practice. Um, and the replacement of commissioners and stuff like that. But we just want to make sure like every all of us are getting what we want out of this situation. So to me, I mean, the if they're available, why not meet with them?
That makes sense to me. Yeah. So yeah, I can make that ask for the February meeting. That sounds good.
Do we want to put it to a vote really fast so we can all have our voices heard in this?
It's
Okay.
great.
I motion that next month we meet with the new administrations. I don't know how to term it, but
Liaison.
liaison. Great, great. And then if I can get a second.
Second.
Thank you. And now we can put it to a vote. Everyone who agrees, they can say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Cece.
Anybody opposed? All right, great. Then the motion carries, and I will make sure that somebody from the new administration is there at the February meeting. Thank you for helping me through the first actual vote I have been a part of here.
Yay.
Great. So the next bit of sort of just 2026 planning I had down. And again, if folks would prefer to talk about things in a different order, but I had just talking about events, because we talked about that a little bit last meeting, that the 2025 town hall seemed to be something that people were interested in doing again. The same thing with Outfest. So I think it might be helpful to just sort of gauge interest in repeating that, see who wants maybe to take on what pieces of work. This sort of predates me, so I'm not sure how that was divided up before. So events.
I don't want to overspeak anyone either, but Adriana took on the coordinator role for both of those events. Um, and we just led in support with maybe marketing, like sharing the flyer and sharing with our networks and things of that capacity. Um, but as far as like, yeah, setup and the actual event, it was at my job. If we want to do it there again, True T Studios, and it was just a PowerPoint that Adriana kind of curated and invited other departments that had to do with our work and stuff like that to speak. And then, yeah, we had a packed house, and that was pretty much the brunt of it. We had some food, and that was the brunt of that event. To my understanding, Outfest is already allocated in the budget. So I'm not sure who would coordinate that in the future, but the money should be there to continue that event as well.
I will say this is CC for Outfest. I did connect Adriana to a connect of mine at Hazelwood Local where it was, taking place. So if you would like that connection, I don't know if you foresee it being there again, but I could, you know, make that connection with you.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I think what I can maybe do just initially is start putting the event, like put Outfest and put a town hall on just like the sort of unfinished business section of the agenda, just so that way they don't get lost. It seems like people would like to keep talking about them and figure out how to make them happen, especially because Outfest is funded. So just to make sure they don't get lost, we can think about logistics far enough in advance. Can have that be like an open conversation then. That sounds good.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. And then I'm not even all the years and all the months are getting muddled together for me in my older age. And so I don't know when we Outfest, I don't know when it was, but if we can have just like, I don't know, um, preemptively plan for around the same time, the same weekends, I think that would behoove us. I'm not sure when those dates are. Like I said, it could be anywhere from, I don't know. That town hall was anywhere from April to August to me. I don't, I don't know. But
And I think Outfest was October.
yeah, yeah. Outfest I think was in
Like
October, but the town
mid-year.
hall, yeah, I don't know. But yeah. And to answer your question in short, I believe that we would still like to hold both of
Yeah.
those community events.
So National Coming Out Day this year is Sunday, October 11th. So if Saturday the 10th is a possibility, that would work nicely.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
I think the town hall last year was March 20th. That's what I have on my calendar.
Okay, good. Is that too soon, do we think, for another town hall? Thank you, Donnie.
Potentially. I mean, having Mayor Gainey last year was pretty cool. And I'm not sure if like Corey O'Connor would be interested in it, but I think it would definitely establish a good connection and just like, he would be connected to our community if he would be open to come and just like give us support and,
I agree.
his presence.
Yeah, I agree. I think that maybe contingent on our conversation with the mayor's liaison next month, we can pick a date more accurately of when Corey O'Connor would be available to do a town hall, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. Like yeah, giving giving the new administration you know, time and like the opportunity to like engage as much as they can and then see what happens from there. But do if we base it on their schedule, then it seems like a hard invitation to say no to me. So
Great, great. So yeah, a spring community event and a fall community event, I think is great.
perfect. Just making a note real quick.
I think the town hall too at True Tea was really cool too because it brings people into the neighborhood and just like I think it was just a perfect space to have that gathering.
Thank you. And we got a lot of feedback, and a lot of people haven't been there before and didn't know about the resource. And so, I mean, it doesn't have to be at True Tea. Maybe we want to highlight a different location. I'm totally okay with that. But yeah, we're more than welcome. We have ample space to do it again at True Tea. But anybody else's spaces that I feel like the community can be introduced to, say Hugh Lane or any other space, I feel like is on the table. But I love it at True Tea. Thank you.
Then, yeah, I think just plan to get more specific about that the next month, maybe with liaison from the mayor's office, or in their absence, just amongst ourselves and sort of get planning that so it can happen in the spring. And then the next couple things on my radar from our conversation last week are sort of connected, but seemed like a goal that came up a lot was having the commission be more visible in Pittsburgh's queer community, build relationships with other folks in the community. And I think part of that is like social media visibility. Um, so that is a larger topic. I don't know if folks have thoughts. I think one thing that is sort of immediately actionable is social media. I don't know if uh, that is something that one person in particular would like to take on, or if that's something that maybe like I ought to set up, what platforms those should be on. So those seem like the smaller, more actionable things, and like the general like visibility, relationships are more like existential conversations. So I will leave it there for now.
Yeah, we definitely talked about getting those things. And so, firstly, we had a social media, Facebook, and I believe Instagram. And so we're going, before Adriana's leave, we were going to reinstate those things. Well, not reinstate, recreate, because we couldn't get into the last accounts and we don't know how to. So we have to start from scratch with the social media accounts. Um, we were also supposed to get city emails. I don't know if that's happening. But as far as like communicating with other community leaders and stuff like that on behalf of the commission, something that we thought would behoove us was actually getting .gov email addresses. And so I don't know where we are in the process of that. And then we had some marketing materials like a tablecloth, some like community cards with like Spanish translation on knowing your rights, stuff like that, to spread throughout community. So we can utilize those things again if we still have them. But yeah, I think that we've talked about making the website or our page on the website more actionable as far as community giving us feedback, seeing a calendar, seeing all of our posted memos and statements, and making sure that at least we're not creating in a silo or behind a closed door, but everybody can see the things that we're doing more prevalently. Um, and those are the things that I recall that I think that we were moving forward with.
Yeah, and I can for a couple pieces inside there. Um, So for the email addresses, I put in a request with our tech department, and they are hurting for licenses right now. They said a little bit they're being a little they're trying not to have too many more created in a short period of time, but that once how many we need 6, 7, when they can create 7 more without having to pay more for that, they said that they will be able to do that for us. But the immediate term, they are worried about overrunning their initial like what our licensing contract is right now, but
Right.
hopefully soon.
Yeah.
For is it oh table I asked somebody in the mayor's office about if they could find the tablecloth and materials. They said that at this point, they in the closet that they were looking for, so far they have found Outfest banners. They have not found the tablecloth yet, but they are still working through that. I believe it is probably in there somewhere, but we do at least have the mayor's office physically looking for materials. So they're bought in on that. But I did not ask about any of the existing marketing materials. So I can also pass that along as well. So those are the two quite small things that I have on my end, as well as the statements that we've put out and the letter from I think November or December. That I put that on our website, so that should be up to date at least with the statements from there. That's all I think the insight I have at this point.
Great. Thank you, thank you. And we also mentioned, I know that, yeah, we wanted to put stuff on our page, but then like new news and stuff like that on the front page, on the landing page about the LGBTQIA Commission and making us more prevalent on the actual Pittsburgh website, we wanted to achieve as well.
That I can ask our tech people about. I don't know how those decisions get made, and I can
Right.
ask.
Right. And I'm not saying as far as like, oh, put us front and center as like a tab, but like if we put out a statement or if we put out a letter under like the news section or whatever, we would like it to be shown.
Yeah, and different
Yeah.
banners show up all the time, and
Yeah.
it seems reasonable. I just cannot say yes, I will ask this person and that will happen, but
Got you.
I can start poking to
Yeah.
then eventually be able to say
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Barb, sorry. One thing just to kind of be aware of, I don't know if folks on this call were aware, but the Commission on Human Relations, there was a bit of a sort of kerfuffle on social media. The Commission on Human Relations posted, I think, of something equivalent, like a Know Your Rights type event, hosted by the DSA, whatever. Something that I'm fully, something that I think is totally fine, but it did get picked up by sort of right wing national social media, and it has been very difficult for the head of the committee. Her picture has been put on that. You know what I mean? Like it, and that is obviously very hard thing to deal with as just a regular person who's trying to do a good job at you know what I mean. And so just to be aware that it's sort of an unfortunate lesson to have to learn about kind of just as the commission, right? Like really being careful about, I would say, and if anything, this flyer, I mean, I saw the flyer, and as I said, it's something that is a totally reasonable, fine thing for the Commission on Human Relations to put out there. But I would say the artwork on the flyer sort of had just looked like artwork that the far right would sink their teeth into and make life very difficult for someone. And so just something to be aware of as a commission when putting out communications, even just in terms of look and feel, right? That's I don't know. It's a shame that it's happening, and I wouldn't want anybody on this commission to have something similar happen to them. I don't know who handles the social media type thing, but it's just something to be aware of, that in this climate, when it comes to communications, just for everyone's own personal safety. I will say that.
Yeah, thank you for that. I don't want that to happen to me. So I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, we have to think of maybe more intentional ways to communicate. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that definitely is helpful for
I mean,
sure.
meaning
Alexander.
more than just the community is watching, unfortunately. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
that's the takeaway, I think.
Yeah.
Alexander has his hand up.
Yeah, is there anything, Barb, that we can do as fellow commissioners to support Rachel during all of this?
I don't know. I don't know. Uh, I'm hoping it just kind of blows over, to tell you the truth, that it's just kind of the media cycle. And that, I mean, I can't speak for Rachel, obviously, but if it were me, that would be what I would hope. But yeah, that's a very good question.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe just like a personal email might be a nice thing for her to see that without,
Yeah,
continuing whatever
right.
the current cycle.
And she's done so much good work. It's a shame that it would be co-opted like this, but unfortunately it happened at Pitt in the past 2 years with a professor I know, so this is just sort of the downside of being a semi-public figure.
Yep. Yep. That's a really good suggestion, Laura. Yeah.
But, sort of on that note, so it seems like, yeah, moving forward, so we'll need to recreate the social media accounts so that they can be updated. Um, is that anything that somebody on the commission would like to take on? Should I maybe just like create those as a first step and then we figure out what happens with them from there? How would folks like to move forward with our like comm stuff?
Well, if I can say something about this as well, the reason why Adriana wanted to do it through whatever the tech or whatever through the mayor's office was because we couldn't get the two-step verification, whoever it was prior to wasn't through the mayor's office. So that's why we can't get back into them. So I think that the security or whatever email has to come from the mayor's office. So whoever transitions out or whatever, the mayor's office or the commissioner's office is always in control of those accounts.
Yeah, that makes sense. We can table that until we have the contact from the mayor's office who that sort of thing should go through. Because yeah, it would be good to make sure that it is the commission does not get locked out even as people and administrations turn over.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, and then we talked a little bit about the more sort of general relationship building, maybe inviting community members to like our people from organizations to commission meetings. So I don't know if anybody had any like further thoughts on that from the last meeting or ways to increase visibility in 2026.
I think Alexander has had a really good tab on what's happening in community and the things that are affecting um, the LGBTQA, I guess, populace as a whole. And so I'd be open to, I know that we don't want to, negate from time as actually getting voting and things that actually affect like the city. But like, I would be totally apt to like having the people that are affected by some of the things that are happening right now come and talk to us and get from their mouth how they feel as though that we can support them. Um, I don't know exactly how to like contact individuals. Maybe Alexander and stuff. You do. You seem like you do. but um, but yeah, I think that would be totally appropriate. Is connecting more to community on a one-on-one level by inviting them to our commission meetings and saying like we see the things that are affecting you. How best can we sit down, maybe break bread or whatever it is, and actually be intentional about helping.
Yeah, I mean that sounds great. I think yeah, going going in with like questions of how the commission can support people, that seems like a really good sort of posture to take. Um, so maybe for next time, uh, if like folks have ideas on who or like uh which organizations like who it might make sense to sort of yeah out in future meetings either reach out to or invite to meetings, then we can take a vote and formally invite some people next time if that might make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I don't know, like the specific entities that like are affected by the 3R. I want to call it 3RBA, but that's the Three Rivers Business Association. The I don't know what it's called, Alexander. I don't know, Sarah, maybe somebody else. But the funding that affected the HIV funding, like the organizations that have been affected by that, um, PAR, Action Against Rape, stuff like that. That the like there's actual litigation, well not litigation, but there's actual policy being made around some of these things. Um, Sex work, decriminalization of sex work and HIV and all these things. And there's specific groups that could talk about it. But yeah, I think, like I said, that I don't know if anybody sees somebody that has been affected or feel as though that they can come and give their testimony about it. And we can have a real first person account of how these policies and changes are affecting people, I think is important.
Alexander, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I agree. Sort of providing witness and also providing a venue for that testimony. I would really love to get a better read on how trans youth are doing right now, especially with the changing care at UPMC. Um, there was sort of a cold comfort victory. A judge pushed back on the subpoenaing of medical records of these youths, which would be a violation of HIPAA, obviously. But yeah, sort of providing a venue where people can talk about how the current political climate is really impacting them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a great use of the commission's sort of platform, and time and energy. Uh, and yeah, and if those sort of first person testimonies can then turn into something actionable or policy oriented for the city or some kind of statement of support or anything like that, that seems like a great place to start.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I had just as a note was maybe think about budget requests for 2027. Again, with the sort of last year's commission recommendations, going to talk to HR to see how they could budget out. And this maybe we don't have an answer to today, but if there are things that like the commission is interested in pursuing, the commission is interested in supporting the policy either changes or updates that would require some funding to do, uh, that is worth thinking about. Probably would need to be formalized by around the summer or so is how that cycle usually goes. Um, so just something to keep in mind that if anything that the commission would like to engage in requires funding, it should be something we think about.
I can already say I would like us to support events and stuff like that. So I know that, I know we don't have grant funding or anything to that nature, but like, I don't know, contributing like a nice $100, $200 or something to somebody's LGBTQIA prom or whatever it may be. Like, I don't know how to allocate funds like that, but I would like to see like us have like a little change purse that we can say we support as well financially in some instances.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea how that could or does function, but I can investigate some other commissions, see if they have um it, how they get funding if they do. Like I can see some of the more long-standing, well-funded ones and learn a little bit more about their like funding process. Because yeah, that sounds like a great use of the commission's uh, you know, the ability to support, smaller,
Right,
more local stuff that's going on.
right, right.
Is there anything else for, more overall sort of 2026 goals, things that we should think about for the coming year before we move on?
I don't think so. I think that as far as like we're concerned, is like making sure that we can get quorum so we can actually have voting rights. So we can like we only have 12 meetings per se about within a year. And so like it's hard to get a lot of stuff done when we can't vote on month after month. So like once we rectify that, then actually being able to get some things turned out, so being able to vote and have some stuff substantiated, I think is a real goal of ours. So being able to get those community events out, we can't do that if we can't vote on a location. We can't vote on bloody, bloody, bleedy, blah, 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 blah. So it's a real barrier for us, like we said, and getting things done. So I think that after we have that initial kind of rectification and us being able to turn things out, um, we'll see a lot more um, deliverables, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think that sounds great. And that I think takes us to a deliverable that Alexander had emailed out to the commission members, uh, which is possibly putting up a statement on which so ACT UP sent out a statement, and I saw some other organizations locally within the past few days have also put out statements, but about Prison Rape Elimination Act protections for transgender inmates at the Allegheny County Jail. Alexander, would you like to uh, talk for a little bit about what you were hoping to uh, action you're hoping to take, background about the end issue and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this came to me by way of a member of ACT UP in the Pittsburgh chapter. They approached me because they knew of my role on the commission and provided me this statement. Um, I feel like it's a pretty straightforward thing. Basically, the federal government has decided not to enforce certain provisions in the PREA as they apply to LGBTQIA people, um, which, you don't need to comment on where this is coming from. So, what I'm thinking is we don't really need to go too in depth. They've already done the hard work of the research, the legal research, um, and crafting this statement. So I don't know if there's a process for making like a simple, like, we support this, like, we are on board with what you're doing, and we think this is the right direction. So I just wanted to open it up to that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that if I can say that, um, I don't know the exact process for posting someone else's statement, like you were saying, but I think that us condoning a message that we also resonate with and us making it a statement of support, like you were saying, is totally feasible. So I don't know if that is us writing another couple of lines in the letter of our own and putting in that messaging and saying this is the message from ACT UP that we also condone, and that being a way to support it. But I'm totally supportive of putting out a statement on this as well.
Yeah, I think something that just says that we support their work and stand with them, I think would be appropriate.
Okay.
So a motion, second motion, Laura.
I'll second motion it.
Okay, good. So I mean, yeah, I guess the first motion is I motion to have the commission support the language and verbiage. I'm not quite sure of the content language, but the trans youth language ACT UP curated. We write a letter of support and distribute that. That is my motion. Donnie, if you second it, we can get a second.
Yeah, I second.
I'm sorry.
Is there a letter, Alexander, that they wrote that we could read or?
Yeah, so I sent it as an attachment on an email. It's their full statement.
Oh, okay.
It sort of goes into also the legal background. Like they really did a lot of research on this.
Mm-hmm.
I can bump that up to you in your inbox right now.
Okay. Yeah, but I second. I actually have a client who's a member of ACT UP and was also kind of telling me about the issue as well. So definitely support this.
Great. Thank you. And then, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, so we have a motion for the commission to make a statement in support of ACT UP's statement and research, and a second for that. So you get a vote of all in favor, saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, so that motion passes. And then the logistics of that are then is there anybody who would like to just write a couple things? I could maybe, if everyone's okay with waiting till tomorrow, I could just maybe say like, yeah, write a couple sentences of support, link to the ACT UP statement, and then send an email to everybody. And if it looks good, uh, or barring any like specific objections by like the, I don't know, end of the day tomorrow, uh, then at least put that up on our website. Um,
I support
Sounds
that.
good to me.
Yeah.
Great. Then everyone will get an email from me tomorrow with a draft of that. Anything else on the statement? All right, great. So seeing nothing else there, then last up we have any announcements that anybody would like to make?
We have True Tea and two events coming up for Black HIV Awareness Day, February 6th and February 7th. It'll be a mini ball on the 6th at Black Box Theater. So if you guys are all ever interested in voguing and the ballroom scene, stuff like that, we will be doing stuff on the 6th of February. And then we will have a luncheon for the ways that HIV affects Black women on the 7th at True Tea Studios.
Awesome. Thanks, Julian. Any other announcements before we head out? Like seeing none, I also need maybe a motion to adjourn.
I second your motion.
Great. Can we, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any, any opposed? No. Then we are adjourned.